How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Supporters Club. It's been a little while. We've got a big match around the corner this Monday night, Man United away. Can we lift the curse? We haven't won at Old Trafford for years. I've got Curtis with me. I've got Deluded and Robbie. What do you guys think? Obviously, we've got a little hoodoo at United. We've got a little hoodoo at Old Trafford. Before the comments start flying in, I know we beat them in the FA Cup, but that's a different entity. This is the Premier League. We need to get back to the top, and beating teams like United away is essential to getting where we want to get to. Curtis, let's start with you. Are you confident?
Do you know what? Part of me is confident because I feel like over the years a lot of it came from Wenger, because over the years Wenger was constantly getting beat there, obviously the 8-2, and I feel like now we've got a manager, he's got nothing to fear going there at the end of the day. The record isn't there before. Like you said, they're kind of on their knees at the moment, United. I don't think the manager's got the support of the fans there. But we need to go there and play with belief. I feel like too many times we go there, we almost give them too much respect and just play the way. We need to impose ourselves on the game. If we can score the first goal, the fans will turn on them. So
Yeah.
But we need to play a quicker tempo.
You made a good point with the fear factor thing, because I agree with the Wenger point. I think we ended up with a soft core, and it was like Troy Deeney famously said, the cojones part of Arsenal wasn't really there. So Emery has changed that with Arsenal, but the fear factor thing, Emery goes into every game with a fear factor because he's so tactical with it. Like Deluded, obviously you've seen us this season. Emery goes into each game with similar formations, but the tactics are suited to the opposition. Will that be his downfall against United, or do you think we should, like in my opinion, go all out against them?
You see, United, if we go back to last year, I think it's a bit of both. Because last year, if you remember the game, I feel Emery set us up perfectly. What he cannot factor in is individual mistakes. If you go back and look at that game, we scored and then Lingard scored about 2 straight on it. So I think the players need to be switched on. They need to be able to weather the storm of the crowd, and they just have to be at it. I like that Emery is very tactical. Like you said, at times it kind of goes against us. We previously had Wenger, who probably didn't think about things like that, to another manager who kind of thinks too much about it. He's got to look to balance. In terms of this game, I am a bit wary though, because I do think both clubs and both sets of players need to get a reaction. Fair enough, we won 3-2 against Villa, but if we all cut the crap, we know it wasn't a convincing performance. United have been losing, pressure over both managers, pressures over both sets of players. United, you even hear Gary Neville, he says regardless of their form, they fancy it against us, and they're within their rights to say that. We should fancy it, but I feel Emery, it's 50, it sounds cliche, but it's 50%. Emery's got to give them the tactics, but the players at the end of the day are the ones on the field. And like I said last season, I genuinely feel Emery, all week, he drilled it into them what they need to do, and they went through the game plan away. So it's down to the players. They talk about what we need to do after every game. They need to show it. These are the games that's going to make the difference. It's away from home. We ain't won there, like you said, since 2006. Seeing is believing. There's every reason to be confident against United, but we need to be wary of overconfidence, because we've got no reason to be overconfident. Both sets of teams have been shaky in terms of form. So it's seeing is believing, really and truly.
Yeah, like you said, the confidence thing. Robbie, how many times have we played United in the past few years and said, this is our chance to beat them? I remember a few years ago when Rashford burst on the scene, we was all laughing at them playing Midfield or whoever it was on the Thursday, and then we thought, look at this team, this is ours. Didn't happen. Last year, same thing, didn't happen. We had just smashed Tottenham 4-2 at home. We thought, this is us now. It didn't happen again. This time, it looks like they're all over the place again. But Robbie, are you confident come Monday?
You can't be confident because, you know, we've been all over the place as well. I mean, in some of the games that we've played, you know, we've been all over the place. And what worries me with the game is that we've just been gifting too many goals this season, and it's too easy to overrun our midfield. And we've seen it game after game. The only game I've seen us have proper control in this season is when we played Forest in the EFL Cup, and we controlled the game because they sat very deep and we controlled the game. And was it also because, you know, we had a more dynamic midfield? But we controlled that game. But a lot of the other games we've played, we've relied upon our attacking players to win the game for us. So against Villa, you know, we relied on, you know, Aubameyang, you know, and also Guendouzi played very well in that game. They won the game for us, right? But the defence still worries me because, you know, you analyse some of the games. Against Tottenham, we gave away 2 easy gifts. Against Watford, 2 gifts. against Liverpool, 2 of the 3 goals were gifts. Yeah, you can't keep giving up these goals. How many penalties have we given away? How many players have been getting sent off? You know what I mean? I want to see Arsenal go to Old Trafford, be really cohesive, disciplined performance, and then let our strikers do the job. I think Nicolas Pepe, I just got a feeling he's going to do something in that game. It was like a lot of pressure was lifted off of his shoulders when he scored that penalty. You could see after that he was playing really well. And I would throw, and this might be controversial, I would throw Tierney into that game from the start.
I agree.
I know it was Nottingham Forest, but based off of what I saw in that game, I'm like, that's what we need.
Yep.
We need them dynamic players, up and down, hard working, puts in a great cross, get that ball into, you know, because we've not been servicing Aubameyang very well. I don't even know how he scored so many goals. So I can't be confident because of the poor record we've had and because of how we've been defending. But certainly we've got a better team than we had last year.
Definitely.
And they've got a worse team than they had last year. Because last year, they had guys like Lukaku, whatever you say about him, he's a goal scorer. You know what I mean? I don't know if Martial will be fit for the game.
Apparently he will be.
Yeah, Martial,
Apparently everyone's
Pogba.
back in it.
Yeah, but I still think that last year they had a better team, right?
I agree with that.
So, and I think last year we've improved on the team that we had last year, but we've got to show it, man. And I just want to see, you know, can they go to Old Trafford and keep a clean sheet?
Yeah.
That would be a major step. If we go to Old Trafford and keep a clean sheet, we win the game. That's how vital it is that we start learning to defend. Can we be intelligent in our play, mix it up?
Game management.
If we play every ball out from the back against United,
they're going to press us.
they're going to press on us and we get dealt
Baby
with.
food.
But if we play, mix it up and we get the ball into the players that can hurt them, we could also go there and embarrass them. But it's what Arsenal's going to turn up.
So before I move on, you said you'd start Tierney. What about Rob Holding?
I don't know if it's going to be too early for Holding because, you know, even though he played all right there, I think it's a little bit different in his case because he's coming off of a really bad long-term injury, right? Same with Bellerin, really bad long-term injury. Whereas Tierney, it's not. It's an injury, but it's not like one of those like ones that kept you out for So I think you can throw Tierney in. You could even blast Tierney for like a 60, 70 minutes and then bring Kolasinac on. But I think maybe with Holding, it might come too soon for him. What Standard Liège after that? Throw him into that game. You know what I mean? Get him. We don't want to rush Holding back in. You know what I mean? But certainly, I play Chambers as well. Right, you know what I mean? Because I think Maitland-Niles he would have served his ban. But to me, Chambers, you know, in the games he's played this season, he ain't done nothing wrong.
Taking his chances,
Right? I know he's not the quickest. That would be worrying me, you know, that up against that Daniel James and Martial and them, But then he might just sit a bit deeper, and you know what I mean? That might be.
I agree with that because on the other side, if you're playing Tierney, you've got someone who's attacking a bit more. The back four can make a free sit in a little bit more. You've got 3 centre backs anyway, so it can work. I'd go with Chambers.
Yeah, I would.
So I think you two agree with Rob Holding, keep him out of this game.
No, I wouldn't chuck him in.
To be fair, I'm tempted, man. I'm a big fan of Rob Holding, so my logic is kind of going to be a bit shrewd to the left a bit. But I'll throw him in there based on not even just Holding. Chambers could play at centre half. I know there's a debate for right back, but just based on how Luiz and Socrates have been playing, I feel there's real question marks, and I don't really have any. I do have confidence that they'll put in a better performance than them. I'm not seeing anything that the 2 experienced partners are doing to suggest that we must play them sort of thing. Yeah, we can go to the experience, and if we're honest, Luiz and what's his name, Socrates is probably Una Emery's first choice partnership, but I'm really looking at them, man. I believe places should be earned on merit. I believe based on merit, you've got Chambers, you've potentially could even start Saka further forward, and you've probably got to get Joe Willock in there against United. I feel we've got to get out of this. I liked it. Emery did it initially. If you're not playing well, you come out of the team. Now I'm seeing a lot of coasters within this team. I don't want to scapegoat Xhaka because we'll probably get onto it, but people are coasting within this team. So we need to shake it up.
Robbie alluded to the fact in the middle we've been very slow, and like you, I actually agree because Rob Holding actually got 90 minutes for the under-23 23s before international break, so that was early September.
And he played against Leicester's 23s as well.
There you
the
go.
week before
And
that.
then he's got 90 yesterday, and I think that with a 5-day rest, like you said, I'm a bit weary with Socrates and Luiz, and I'd actually push Luiz a bit forward given the chance.
Yeah.
Shout.
But let's stick to the middle right now, because that's been a big problem all season. Curtis, I want to know the two you'd start with in front of the back four first, and why.
Do you know what? It's a tricky one, but I think last season our best pivot in midfield was Xhaka and Torreira. When Torreira sat back and helped Xhaka, because we always go back to that Man City performance years ago. Remember when we went there with Coquelin and Cazorla, and they protected the back four properly and we won that game. I just think at the moment, the midfield, they're not protecting the back four, and they're not actually creating much going forward either. I only really see Guendouzi who's getting assists at the moment. So I think, and then maybe with Willock for his energy as well, because, you know, you look at Pogba and people like that, he doesn't really want to defend. Matic is quite static as well. So I think it's important we've got energy both ways. So, but at the same time, it's hard to leave Guendouzi out as well, because he's in such good form.
In my opinion, he's the one that you have to start. It's who's his partner on
So maybe
on
you take Xhaka out and play Guendouzi and Torreira and maybe Willock or Ceballos.
That would be your three, yeah?
That would be the three,
What about you, Deluded?
To be fair, I wouldn't play Xhaka, but we have to be honest, so I'm going to kind of factor in Xhaka. It'll probably be a pivot of, what's his face again, Guendouzi and Xhaka. The 10 or the creative midfield roles where there's the debate. I would probably go with Ceballos, but I've just mentioned Joe Willock. I believe you've got to get him in. So it would be between them two, would be my options, to be fair, if you're Turkish, man.
What about you, because I'm shocked that I'm actually doubtful whether he'd start, because he got taken off early for once against Aston Villa, and he got booed off, and questions were asked to Emery afterwards, and Emery said he's a professional, he'll deal with it. Rob, do you think it's a guarantee that he will start?
Probably, if you base it off of what's gone on in the past, it will be, but I think it's a mistake. I think we need legs in that midfield. Xhaka's not been particularly bad this season, but the problem is he's slow. Right, so he's very left-footed and he's very slow on the ball, right? So I've noticed teams, they target him with the press.
Easy.
Right? Now, to me, I'm not saying drop Xhaka and all this, I'm just saying that for this game, I'd have Torreira in there, because Torreira, to me, he's got more legs, he gets around the pitch more, and he moves the ball forward more, right? Whereas Xhaka's a bit more sideways. Guendouzi has to play because he's been superb, and we've seen already under pressure, he doesn't wilt. He can lift the team, he can create bits of magic, right? So he has to play. My only doubts then is who else plays? Is it Ceballos or Willock?
Yeah, that's the question.
I'm telling you, Willock has been outstanding this season. Not only as he is, you know, he gets around, he puts in a real shift, he's scoring goals as well. We want midfielders that's going to score goals. Willock's been popping up with goals this season. What, more goals than Ceballos, more goals than Torreira, all of them, right? So, I don't know. I'm a bit torn whether to go with Ceballos or Willock in that game, because I just think, like you said, they've got a problem in midfield. They've got very, apart from Pogba, their midfield is quite slow as well. McTominay, Mata,
both of them are
Fred,
awful, to be fair.
you know what I mean, whether it's, you know, Matic, they're slow, right? Somebody like Willock is ratting around at them. You've got Torreira, you know, I kind of prefer that, you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like they're going to be lumping big balls up, you know, where you need the physical presence of Xhaka. So, I don't know, man. To me, Guendouzi, Torreira, and then one of Ceballos and Willock. And at the moment, I'd have to say I'm kind of favouring Willock. Because I just feel that Willock is a guy who can pop up on the edge of the box, score a goal. He's very dynamic.
Fearless.
And his heart is
fearless.
Really that's the thing. With Ceballos,
I've just really enjoyed watching him playing this season as a kid that's come from the academy.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know what I mean? When you see him, Guendouzi playing, right? They're playing like their life depends on it, man. They're leaving everything on the pitch.
Leading by example.
Yeah. And I just want a dynamic team against United. That's what I'm saying. Like them two, Tierney. You know what I mean? Chambers ain't put a foot wrong. If,
Again,
like you said, if you're playing on form, you know,
on merit, you're there,
then those two centre halves, you're right. One of them should really. The one I think's been the worst out of the two has been Socrates.
I was just about to say.
Right, I know that Luiz has made the mistakes, he's made some mistakes, but Socrates, even in the
From
game against
pre-season,
Villa,
he's looked rubbish,
Yeah.
man.
that penalty, that should have been a penalty, really. That could have cost us the
yeah.
game. What was he doing? He's not been on it, really. He's got a good pace of recovery, but he's not been having a good time.
He's been terrible
Right?
this
So maybe if Holding was fit and he was to bring Holding in, it would, for me, I'd have Holding in.
Next to Louis.
Because the one thing about David Luiz as well in a game like that is that if you do try and press,
He can pass.
and he gets round it, he can hit a diagonal and find Aubameyang or Pepe. He's a dangerous, you know what I mean? He offers a lot in that aspect, you know? So, but I just want us to go there and be on the front foot, dynamic. I don't want us to go there. That's not my criticism sometimes of Emery. You say he's tactical, sometimes too much.
He is too
much,
tactical.
yeah,
He's not
yeah.
brave.
It's like too much,
He's not
man.
brave
Like,
enough
yeah,
at
man,
times,
just,
of course.
just go there and be brave, man. You know what I
play
mean?
on the front foot.
Look at.
He's got
I
a
know-
mental handbrake up.
Listen, I know they lost 4-0,
Always.
yeah? But when Chelsea went to United, they went on the front. They should really have been, if they would have
Just
taken their
scored 2-3 at
chances,
least.
Something would have
Yeah.
happened, yeah.
100%. It could have been
Right.
a different game.
you know? When Leicester went there, they were too tentative at the start of that game. Right? I know they conceded an early goal. But when they got more on the front foot, they were giving United
Given
loads of
issues,
problems.
yeah. The key is bravery for me. We've got to go out there and be brave. Like, you can't curl into a shell. We know when we go to Old Trafford, the fans are going to be up for it. There's a direct contrast, like us, between how they play at home and away. They're going to be up for Arsenal. It's two rivals.
Yeah.
So players need to be there and be rigid and be composed and actually weather the storm. And that's why, like Robbie was saying, that's why Joe and the other players on form would be the ones for me, just on the basis of being fearless. We've seen too many times, we've gone to several places and players curl into a ball.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to have tactics. Yes, you need to be good technically and all of these things. But the minimum requirement is to be playing at your maximum and be up for it. Game management, especially when the crowd are getting on top of us, is going to play a part.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to look to these experienced individuals, like if Socrates and Luis play, if Xhaka starts. And this is what I haven't seen really since the season started. So we really got to look at what we're doing in that game. It is going to come down to the fine margins.
Bring Xhaka on later.
Potentially, yeah. We'll
Not
see how
at
the
all,
game's
man.
going.
Yeah,
We'll see.
don't-
But you
don't
know what? I
play.
want to touch on
There's
one
gonna
more
be a lot of
position
space in
because
the middle, man.
you touched on the youth point when Doozy, Willock, they're showing good stuff this season. But there's a position up for grabs. We know Oba starts up top. We know Pepe starts on the right.
Left.
Who do we go with on the left? And
Saka,
you have,
man.
but you have to consider now that Wan-Bissaka, potentially the best right back, one of the best right backs in the league right now, is who they'll be up against. Saka, 17, Reece Nelson, 20.
Saka, man.
And that's our only choices right now. So
Yeah.
you can already hear you're going with Saka.
You gotta go with
I'd
Saka,
go with
man.
Saka because the one thing I would say about Wan-Bissaka, at times he's a little bit clumsy. He dives in. And I think Saka's so aggressive on the ball, the way he runs at people, I think he could trouble him in that game. Obviously, they're going to have James probably in front of Wan-Bissaka as well. So that's where the left-back position's key, because if, you know, Kolasinac is there or, you know what I mean, it could be a long day for him. That's why I would bring Tierney in as well.
And coach him through that as well.
You've got two fearless players there, because Tierney looked like, you know, he was embracing being there. He was giving people a rollicking if he put a cross in and no one was there. And I think now, with these young players, the mentality is different. They want to, if you was Joe Willock, you want to prove a point against Pogba and
definitely.
outplay him.
100%.
Whereas people like Xhaka, you know, he's played against him before, he's probably struggled to outdo him. So I think the mentality is changing with these young, fearless players in the team.
Well, if
and
you're
that's
scared
helping
against
us.
Watford second half, then I don't know what you're thinking.
Look at Joe
before
at
United
Liverpool
game.
away.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at him. Joe didn't look out of place at Liverpool away. If you didn't know anything about football or how old he was, he looks like an
He's getting
experienced
more
player.
into it as he
That's
goes.
why,
Yeah.
that's why Saka probably Chambers won't. But that's why I'm just advocating Saka, Chambers, and whoever's playing on form need to start that game. Like you said, physically, Saka probably is going to struggle. But he's earned that spot. Like that left wing is up for grabs, and in the last 3 games he's played, he's taken his chance. So why not let him go out there?
100%, but then Reece Nelson got a goal and assist yesterday.
True,
What about Martinelli out there?
That's true.
That's
Probably a bit too early
Because
for
he,
him.
because he can play out wide. I saw him doing it in pre-season.
Yeah.
That's where he was playing. He looked really
Newcastle,
good.
he came on out
Came
wide.
on
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and he's got pace to burn as well.
Put on the ball.
I
Point to
hope.
prove
I
as
hope.
well.
Listen, I'll be happy with either Saka or Reece Nelson. I think if you're going on form, it's got to be Saka. You know what I mean? I saw him, you know, against Frankfurt. He was excellent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He in the first half against Villa, he was our best player.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? I'd throw him in, man. I think, you know, from what I've been told about that kid, he's like a real quiet, humble kid. But he loves his football.
Yeah.
And you can see, again, the hunger in him. It might be, you know, sometimes as well where you get a player who comes in and they don't know a lot about him. They're not going to know a lot about Saka.
No.
You know what I mean? So
problems.
I don't know,
Can be
man.
hard to deal with.
I'd be happy to go with Saka. I'd be happy to go with Saka or Reece Nelson, but I'd say if you're going one of the two of them now, it's got to be Saka.
Yeah,
but I hope he plays free up front. I hope again.
Not
I don't want to see no
No
diamond
Pepe through the
business
middle.
and
No.
diamond and all them this and that. Yeah, I mean, go for it, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's my one criticism of Unai Emery, man. I like the guy. I think he's, I think he has done some great things, but sometimes too many. Keep it simple sometimes, man.
100%. Just go for it.
Release the handbrake, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Look at the United's team and say, right, let's go for it, man. Let's attack these guys.
Yeah.
Let's attack them, man. Let's see what they got, right? I think we've been going. I think it's one of the reasons why our away form has been so indifferent over the years, is that we've been stuck, not knowing whether to go for it or what. You know what I mean?
Or defend.
You see Liverpool will go away.
No long term.
And City where they go away. I know they're better than us, right? But when they're going away, you already know what they're coming to do. They come to win the game, bro. They're not in no...
They don't want a point.
It's mad because we've gone from a manager who goes all out every single game, and that was his downfall in the end, to a manager that...
Yeah, but you've got to be sensible with it, though. So
100%.
obviously, you've got to be sensible in it. You've got to be set up right, and everyone's got to know their job. And everyone's got to know that, you can't all go. Someone's got to sit back in case of cat. And that's the problem with Arsenal, is that... Everybody, you look and be
Everyone's
like 8 man in the box. You know what I mean? Like, and then one ball over the top is like 4 against 2. That's the problem with Arsenal. There's no structure. Now, if he gets the structure right, and then he says to them, man, you know what, United, they're not really going for a good time at the moment, man. They lost their last game against West Ham 2-0. Right? The fans are, you know what, I'm going for it, man. Going for this particular game, let's go for it, man.
100%.
Let's step to them. If it don't really work out, it don't work out. But I want to go for it. I'd like to see him do that.
The other week they lost to Crystal Palace. They had Townsend on one side, Zaha on the other, and Benteke through the middle. And they just soaked up pressure and hit them on the counter-attack. We've now got 3 players up there who've all got pace.
Scary,
You know what I mean? Our striker's on fire at the moment. He's world class now. No doubt with the goal.
Not according to some people.
Well, behind the camera and that.
He's doing something in the background.
I think his stats prove it anyway. And then you've got Pepe, who, like Rob was saying, he's got the goal now, so you're hoping. And Man United's left back will be probably Ashley Young. So you'd feel like Pepe.
And he's quite
might be fit.
Shaw might be fit. But either one of them,
even
you
a
think
fit Shaw
Pepe
is
can
not
have
really.
a go at both of them guys.
100%.
Aubameyang through the middle, Saka on the left. So we should be hitting them on the counter-attack. Man U's defences look shaky this season.
But before I go,
as well,
I'm going to go into predictions in a sec. But I do want to say, obviously, I'd actually start with Saka too. But I think defensively, Reece Nelson gets up and down a lot better than him. When I've seen Saka play in the last few games, he's failed to kind of help out at the back. And that might be a problem against James on the counter. So I wouldn't be surprised if Emery goes with Nelson. Do you know what I mean? But then I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of fans get down his neck for it, because Saka does deserve it.
Not put Xhaka out there.
Let's not get into Xhaka. Xhaka's getting his own episode. Xhaka's getting his own episode. But yeah, let's move on to predictions. What do you think? Who do you think is going to score?
I'm going to go for 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
At the moment, I just think...
First goal to us?
First goal to us, I can't see us keeping a clean sheet at the moment.
Who can?
We're like you say, we're handing out gifts to everybody, and they've got lively attackers, so I'm not overly confident we'll keep a clean sheet, but I think we'll score.
So you're saying 2-1. I'll change up the question. 2-1, and will Oba prove Jordan wrong? Will he score at OT?
I'm sure. As long as we create, he'll score. You create chances for him, he'll score goals, and I think we'll get chances against them.
So you're going for Oba to score 2-1, Deluded?
2-1.
I'm going for 2-2, I'm going for 2-2 because as much as I've said in this episode about Emery thinks about the opposition too much, while we've been sitting here, I can see why he would, because I see wide areas as a potential dangerous area. If Rashford's fit, he has question marks over how he plays through the middle, but he drifts into wide areas. Arsenal have a problem with 2v1s in them situations, and we have a problem like United following runners. So I do think there's going to be goals in this game. I want us to win, so I'm going to say... the positive in me is going to say 3-2 Arsenal, but the realist in me is going to say 2-2.
And looking now, would you be happy with a point?
Yeah, I mean, it's Old Trafford away. Obviously, I'd want to win, but fight another day.
Rob?
I'm going to go 2-1.
First goal to us?
Boy, I don't know.
You're not worrying about all that.
I know we ain't keeping a clean sheet. That's what I know. I'll be shocked if we keep a clean sheet, but I'm going to go 2-1. I've seen a reaction since the Watford game. You know what I mean? We went to a very hostile place in Frankfurt and we beat them 3-0. We rode our luck a bit at times, but we deserved it. I think we created a lot of open, clear-cut chances in that game. We should have won by more, right? The Villa comeback was outstanding, showed a lot of spirit and fight. And then, you know, good win against Nottingham Forest. So we 3 on the bounce. And I want them to carry that through. Like, if the manager is positive, I feel that we can go there and win. If he goes there with diamonds and this and that, then I think it'll probably be a draw.
Yeah.
And we could possibly... we cannot underestimate Manchester United, right? Because
can't.
no matter what people say about United, we
They're
know
up for
it's
it
not the
against
United
us.
of old. They're going to be up for it against us. And remember, they beat Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know they lost to Palace. I know they lost to West Ham, but they beat Chelsea 4-0 at
got
home.
the talent, it's
right?
Of course they have.
They've got outstanding individual players, right? And if we're not on it,
They will
if you
punish
don't
us.
close down Pogba, if you
it'll
let
dictate,
Martial run in behind, if you let even that Greenwood that might play,
Daniel
if
James.
Daniel James, if you don't deal with these players with the respect that they deserve,
We'll have problems.
we could lose that game as well. So
Facts.
it's got to be a disciplined performance, but I want us on the front foot.
Yep.
Front foot, go for it, you know what I mean, go for it. Let's take it to them. Let's see what they're made of.
No, 100%. I agree. So obviously, I might just give mine. I'm worried that Emery's going to go with the 4 central midfielders again. You see what he's done against, and that will put me off. But predicting now, I'm quite confident. I think we will get the first goal. I think United will have to come out against us, and I think we'll win 3-1 in the end.
Who scored the first goal? Ozil?
Is he even going to be on the bench?
He's even going to be in the squad. Yeah,
Yeah,
might have a cold in that.
Yeah, bad back.
He plays when he
No,
wants.
I think,
my guy.
and I think, you know what, with all jokes aside, what Jordan said about Alba, I do actually agree to an extent as well. I think this is the stage for the top strikers to prove themselves. And
But
I'm
they've
not
got to
saying,
get.
I'm not
Then
saying
we
he
got to
hasn't.
serve the guy
I'm not-
though.
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
this is the thing
I'm
I
not
don't
saying he
like,
hasn't.
right? Is that people criticise him sometimes, say, "Oh, in some of these games, he hasn't scored." You've got to. Aubameyang's a guy. You've got to get the ball to him in the
Service.
right
I agree.
areas.
I agree.
Servicing. We don't do that,
No,
and that's why I say. That's why I want us to be on the front foot. That's why I don't think this is a game for Xhaka. This is a game for dynamic play. This is a game for Tierney. You service that guy, he will definitely score against
Listen,
United.
that's what I expect from Saka, Pepe and Tierney. I do expect a lot of service, and even Louise if he plays. Do you know what I mean? But I appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks,
Thank you.
Rob. Thanks to Deluded.
Love for having
Thanks,
me, man.
Curtis.
Yeah, man.
This has been Supporters Club. Let me know your predictions for the game against United on Monday. Let me know your lineups in the comments below. Subscribe to AFT, do all of that stuff. And until the next time, I'm out.